Hey guys, quick announcement before we get into the show. I just wanted to announce our new sponsor, fantasygo.com. It's an awesome website where you could go to. Me and Perry both signed up as analysts, so you could actually go on there and hire us to set your lineup for the week. It's cheap, it's super easy to use. It actually syncs up with your Yahoo, and we can see your waiver wire, your scoring rules, your entire team, and make moves for you if you want us to, or we could just give you advice if that's what you're into. And it gives you a direct line of communication with us. So it's awesome, super user friendly. Right now, it's available on Yahoo or for Yahoo, and it's about to launch for every platform. So go ahead and sign up on there, and hire one of us to set your lineup or your favorite analyst, which I assume is us. So get on there and do that. And I'll link our profiles on there at the bottom in the description of this video. So make sure you guys go on there and hire us. It's awesome website. Just gives you a chance to connect with your favorite analysts and have them set your lineup for you. So yeah, get on there and do that. Welcome, management team. It's week 9 of the 2019 football season. We just passed the halfway mark. I'm Justin, and I am super thrilled to announce, as always, Perry Cooley.
And I'm super proud, happy, excited to announce that I went and saw my doctor, and he says I'm lacking in vitamin U, Justin.
Well, we'll get you some more of that and much more.
I'm so lame.
We just make sure you guys watch our podcast on YouTube. Our last one got a dislike on it. Thanks, TJ Yeldon. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, first dislike. It's like we're official YouTubers now.
I know. Yeah. We got those haters out there. It happens.
Hater.
Yeah, I know. One day we'll have more. All right, but you could also find us on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you want. If you have another podcast app, we're probably on there. And if not, send us what podcast app it is so we could get on there.
Yeah, I want to be in your apps.
We almost had to bleep that.
Too far?
It was close.
Okay.
But it's acceptable. On the line.
It's a family show. Try and keep it family friendly.
On the line, it's in. You can find us on social media. We got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go check all of those out. I post awesome pictures and some amazing tweets. So do that.
Yeah, it's true. They're amazing.
Breaking news with the Tyreek Hill jersey. The person who won it actually could not accept it due to religious reasons. So we're going to be giving it away to someone else right now.
And that person is... go ahead.
I'll start it. You finish it. The K-Meister. Nathan
K on YouTube.
So we'll be reaching out to you, Nathan. We'll hit you up and get in contact with you so that way we could get this jersey shipped out to you. It's been sitting here too long, longer than expected. I got it right here, so it's coming your way.
I will say, I want to say it has your name on it, but it doesn't. It has Tyreek Hill's name on it.
Twice. Once in his handwriting, once on the back.
Yeah.
So today's show, we're going to be talking about injuries. We have our residential doctor, Dr. Ben, that was going to be on the show. Unfortunately, he had to go see a doctor and get some medicine. Yeah, so he wasn't feeling too well, couldn't make it on. But he was kind enough to send all of his notes over for us, so we'll still be going over all that.
Yeah, and I think he'll be coming on next week. We'll go over some some injuries that happened this week, some injuries that happened this coming week, and yeah, we'll get him back on here as soon as possible. Yeah.
Awesome. And so what's new, Perry? What's new outside of the football world with you?
Let's see. So my wife, who is officially a licensed occupational therapist now, has 2 job interviews tomorrow, which we're very excited about. I'm excited to possibly move out of the garage. That's very near in my future. And we had my niece, her birthday this weekend. Yep. You were here. You saw it.
It happened.
It went just like I thought. She was pumped about the cake, but when those presents came out, it was like mind-blowing.
But she was terrified of one of the outfits I got her. So
yeah. Temper tantrum this morning when they made her put it on. So
yeah, I mean, I thought it looked great, but the one with the giant weird face on it, she seemed to love. So
yeah, I don't know. 2-year-olds are weird. So
yeah. I guess I have different tastes than a 2-year-old. It's weird.
Yeah. What about you? What's new with you other than going to 2-year-old birthday parties?
Yeah, I went to a 2-year-old's birthday party this weekend. I don't know if you heard about that. We also, me and my wife were looking at some properties and stuff like that, looking to buy some land or a house or whatever, Just
I
something.
Don't know. I don't know. Never bought either of those things, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was we got catfished actually.
Yeah, you were telling me about this.
Yeah, we went to look at a house and the online picture was probably 40 years before today. So we get there and the roof of the house was all moss and ferns. And I'm not a gnome, so I can't live in that house.
If you were a hobbit, it would work too, but
that's true.
That either. So
no, yeah, I am taller than 4 feet, so I don't qualify as either of those.
Oh man, I wish I was a hobbit. Side note.
Weird flex, bro.
Weird wish, man.
Everyone has fantasies. I mean,
their homes, they just look so cozy. I don't know.
They're gnomes.
No, they're not gnomes. They're hobbits. Move on, all right?
All right. No, you move on. Let's get into some football news.
All right. You talked me into it. Let's see. This week we had a tragedy. Chase Edmonds is set here to miss a few weeks with a hamstring injury. That's a bummer. It was exciting having an actual waiver pickup like explode and be really good and
do an intro for our show.
And then his hamstring exploded. Because of that, I guess we'll talk about it right now. The Cardinals went out and signed Kenyon Drake to beef up that backfield, or traded for Kenyon Drake. What did they? I think I read it. Was it a 2nd-round pick?
Yeah.
That's incredible. What that tells me is the Chase Edmonds injury is probably more serious than they're even giving out right now. And
not
David Johnson.
David Johnson.
I
feel like this is a Todd Gurley thing all over again.
It's either something like that, where it's like career long sort of thing, or he could be done for till like the end of the season, or even I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't know. It scares me for David Johnson. I have him in Dynasty, and I'm not quite sure what to do with him at this point. So, what's your value on Kenyon Drake going forward with the Cardinals?
Kenyon Drake? I think that he's definitely more relevant than he was with Miami. It's still not a great team. It's a big improvement though. I could see him being a flex start there. I actually like Chase Edmonds more. So
yeah, no, I agree. I like Chase Edmonds more. I think Kenyon Drake will be fantasy relevant going forward, just because he's on a better team with a better offense, with a better coach, with a better quarterback. It's just better all around. It's a better situation. And he's shown that he's a talented running back in the past. So I think that he should be owned and probably started in most leagues. 10 to 12 team leagues. So 10 or higher, I would say. Let's move on here to some more injury news from the week. Joe Flacco is ruled out with a neck injury for week 9. It's looking like he's going to miss multiple weeks. Dude, when I first read this, being a Bronco fan, I almost thought that this was total BS, and they just don't want to start Joe Flacco anymore.
Oh, no. Yeah. I'll get into some more Joe Flacco news and news no one cares about. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that they just don't want him.
Yeah, right now it's rumored that Brandon Allen will be starting for the Broncos. So for all those guys that were looking for Drew Lock to come out and start, the rookie this year, he's obviously nowhere near ready, right? Like if he's supposed to be their future, this would be the opportunity to get him in. The fact that they're not, that means he's not ready to go. He's probably had terrible practices to be.
Yeah. He's no Brock Osweiler.
Oh, God. The Denver quarterback situation is dire. It is dire. Let's move on. Nobody cares about Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I know. That's why he's going to be in the news no one cares about.
Miles Sanders, who had a good game, Miles Sanders, this week. He has a small shoulder injury. They're saying it's nothing to be worried about. He's expected to play next week. So that's good news. If you had Miles Sanders, you've been sitting on him all year like me, waiting for him to blow up. He did, or blow up. I don't know. He did well, right? So more of that. Want to see more of that. And I'm happy that he's going to continue to play. So if you see him pop up on your injury notifications, pay attention to it. We'll cover it again in the end of the week, but I think he'll be okay. He'll play.
Yeah. How much do you think that he's solid going forward, or do you think Jordan Howard still vultures those?
That's hard to say. I think, like, if I were the coach, if I were making the decisions, yes, I would say he's solid going forward. I would be trying to give him the ball. He's your future at running back, right? That's what you drafted him to be. But it's the NFL, and these guys have shown us that that's not how they work, right? So
I mean, I think with this week, I'm definitely more confident putting him in. Yeah, but I'm not like it's still. I don't think a whole lot changes with the situation there. Just I expect him to see slightly more carries.
Yeah, I think I would consider him a flex. Maybe not going forward. I don't know if that's accurate,
but like on a week to week basis.
It's just his attempts are constantly going down.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what they're doing there. It's kind of like a David Montgomery situation, which we'll get into in a minute here. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it'd be a deep team flex play for me. I would really want to have other options. Marquise Brown, the star rookie wide receiver for the Ravens, he's expected back for week 9 against the Patriots. I'm not starting him against the Patriots, to be completely honest with you. I know that he's had great games. He's been a number 1 wide receiver at times, number 1 overall wide receiver, or close to it at times. So I'm still not starting him against the Patriots. The Patriots are too good at eliminating your best player.
Absolutely. On that same note, Lamar Jackson. He's going up against Patriots. So I'm the Lamar Jackson owner in our league. Yeah. So I picked up obviously a quarterback this week to play as it was his bye week, and I'm rolling with the same quarterback going into this week because I don't want to have to play against the Patriots defense. So I got Matt Stafford. I think that's a good pickup. He has a good matchup. He had a good matchup this week. He has a good matchup next week. So I think if he's out there in your league, I think that's a good person you could pick up if you're in that situation.
Yeah, you nailed it on that start sit, by the way, with Matt Stafford. He was the one to have in that grouping. But I agree with you. I think we're beyond the Patriots. I mean, yes, they have the easiest schedule ever, right? There's no doubt about that, and that's part of the reason they've done so well defensively. But I think they're just good defensively too. So I think if they're playing anybody, like especially a young quarterback, I'm avoiding that situation for sure. Sam Darnold had a thumb injury in this game. He's saying that he's just going to tough it out and play the rest of the season. I guess that's what you want to hear as a Jets fan, and probably as a Robbie Anderson fan, assuming he stays with the Jets. There are rumors that he might be on the trading block, which is exciting from a fantasy perspective to see him go to maybe a better team, because I think Robbie Anderson's pretty good.
Yeah.
And if he fell somewhere like the Saints, that would be sick. I think that'd be really cool to watch. I think he'd do really well, but we'll see how that plays out. But it looks like Sam Darnold's going to keep playing, so good for all Jets around. So Matt Ryan is expected to be back week 10. The Falcons are on bye week this week, so just be prepared for that. I dropped Matt Ryan, went and picked up Kirk Cousins. That didn't necessarily work out, but it got me more points than Matt Ryan did because Matt Ryan didn't play. So I guess that's good. It's good news for the Falcons players. Julio Jones was fine this week. Calvin Ridley, I'm pretty sure Calvin Ridley didn't really do anything at all this week. So you were right on that, on sitting Calvin Ridley. Yeah, he needs to come back to help out with that wide receiving core. And then some real sad news. It doesn't really have to do with fantasy football, but J.J. Watt, season comes to an end. Another injury. Let's see. Was it torn ACL? I believe he has a torn ACL.
I don't think. No, it was a pec.
Yeah, pectoral. So he's out for the season. He just had surgery today. I just like J.J. Watt. He's a good guy. You like football, you got to like J.J. Watt. So
on a side note too, like if you're like in Perry's situation, another good quarterback this week would probably be Gardner Minshew or Beowulf Minshew. He's playing against Houston, who they're weak against opposing quarterbacks. So especially with J.J. Watt, as you just mentioned, being out, that may be super favorable. So
there you go.
That's a guy I would like in that situation.
Way to spin that, Justin. Way to spin
No problem. That. No problem.
All right. That's all the news that I had to cover. What do you got? Okay.
Yeah, so I got some news no one cares about. So after the Giants game, after the Browns game, Browns New England, which, by the way, Landry was wrong in his guarantee. If you guys didn't know that, apparently.
Yeah, I was hoping there'd be some follow-up to that in the news nobody cares about.
Yeah, the breaking news, New England beat the Browns. But Odell Beckham Jr. gifted Tom Brady a pair of goat cleats. Greatest of all time cleats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's just happened.
Cool.
That happened. The Panthers defensive end Bruce Irvin, former Seahawk, after the game, he was asked about how good the 49ers team was, and he said, they're okay. They're not world breakers or nothing, but they're okay after losing 51-13.
Yeah. I think they're very good. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year.
I mean, as a 49er fan, I'm hoping they do.
Sure, yeah.
But if I was on the team that just lost by 51 points, I'd probably be a little more humble than that.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, they're good, man. They're real good.
Yeah, I was happy to see their offense start looking better. But yeah, that's neither here nor stuff that no one cares about. So moving on. Joe Flacco says they were playing like they're afraid to lose.
Well, if they're afraid to lose, they've sure faced their fear all season.
I know. I was like, not that afraid, apparently.
God.
I'm not even sure what that statement meant. Like, that they're not taking enough risks, I guess. But, I mean, you're not playing good, Joe Flacco. Why would they want to take risks with you?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, Denver's a total mess. I don't even want them to win another game this season.
Yeah, might as well. That's how I was with the 49ers last year. So
yeah. I want draft picks.
Yeah, so Jacksonville trolls Sam Darnold. Their mascot came out before the game wearing a ghost costume after Sam Darnold was heard saying he could see ghosts during the last game.
against the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. He's like, I'm seeing ghosts out here, man.
What?
Yeah.
Sit him on the bench. Yeah, and then to top it off, later in the game, Jacksonville played the Ghostbusters theme on the speakers. Just trolling. Bucks wide receiver Brashad Perryman, he went in motion on a play and tackled his own running back.
I saw that.
Yeah. The only thing worse than that was Baker Mayfield doing a shovel pass to the Patriots defense.
It's slow motion too. That was like the butt fumble.
Yeah,
right?
It was worse. It just doesn't have as bad of a name.
Yeah, like the butt fumble, you're like, I need to see another angle. I'm missing something here, and you see another angle, and you're like, no, it's worse than I thought. This was the same thing. It's like somebody messed up here. It's like, yeah, it was Baker Mayfield. He literally just threw it to the guy.
Yeah, he was like, please don't hit me. Just take the ball and get away.
God.
Oh, God. But yeah, that's all the news no one cares about.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah, we wanted to mention a couple plays from the weekend.
Yeah.
David Montgomery, finally, the man is free.
I know. Matt
Is Matt Nagy stupid?
Yes, but he did do what he should have did with Montgomery. So that was good to see. Their kickers still messed up the game for him. I found that kind of funny. Since I'm not a Bears fan myself, I found it funny. I could see if I was a Bears fan how upsetting that would be.
Yeah, he had 27 carries, which is a season high, 135 yards, season high, scored a touchdown, and he tied a season high interceptions.
So I fully expect him to not touch the ball next week.
No, I expect him to do just fine against Philly.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Like, this is going to work for them. They need to embrace it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Is Matt Nagy stupid? I don't know. We'll find out next week on the next episode of Is Matt Nagy Stupid?
Ooh, episode 8.
Yeah. Who else did we want to talk about? We had somebody else.
I got a couple written down real quick. So John Brown and I paired these together. John Brown, Josh Allen. They like that game. If you guys follow me on, follow us on Twitter. I warned right before the game started. I was reading up on this. They had 50-mile-an-hour winds during the game, so it made it almost impossible to throw the ball at certain parts of that game. So I told you to take them out if you could. And I actually did in one league. I dropped Josh Allen off my team and picked up Daniel Jones, which, by the way, his grandma did not give him that nickname, Perry. I read about saw an interview. No, she didn't.
Oh.
I saw an interview with him this week where he was talking about, he's like, I don't know why they call me that. He's like, I don't even go by Danny.
Well, this week it was accurate, man.
Yeah. He
was Danny Dimes this weekend.
Right, 4 touchdowns this week. So that worked out great for me. I was happy I ended up doing that. So that wind really saved me there. I don't know how well, he would have done without the wind. So, but I'm assuming not 4 touchdowns. So worked out great. So long story short, follow me on Twitter so you could get that breaking news.
Yeah, it's Justin. It's all Justin.
Yeah, well, it's me and Perry. I'm a little more active.
You're just too fast. I can't keep up.
I know. It's the bum ankle. I'm not fast anywhere else, so I'm just fast on the keyboard.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. So I had another one. I also tweeted out right before the games. DK Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
I predicted him to have a little bit more yards than what he had, and by a little bit, I mean quite a bit. But I did call the 2 touchdowns. So I'm super happy about that. And then I also said I think he's going to have 3 touchdowns in the next 2 weeks. So
I continue to believe that. So start him. If you have him next week, he's going to get you a touchdown.
Wow, that was a whole segment of you tooting your own horn there.
Right? I know. I prepared that.
What did you miss on this week, Justin?
Oh, I didn't write those ones down, but I
so
know
they
there's.
must-
I
they
know
didn't
there
happen
are
then.
some. Yeah, I probably didn't. In fact, I did not miss on any. Go back and watch the show, and let me know if I did. Also, that'll just get us more, views on our show. So
Hey man, you don't tell them the plan.
I know
That was like the evil.
Shoot.
That was like 007's like evil nemesis telling him exactly how he's gonna kill him in 5 minutes.
Except it benefits everyone. We all win.
We do all win.
I got one other player, Tevin Coleman. Perry, you were spot on with this one. You predicted him to have the more carries, to like become more of a bell cow back there than Breida.
Yeah.
I still like Breida, but I like both of them. Obviously Coleman more. And going forward, I think you can start Tevin Coleman at this point, which is good to see.
I mean, there's no way I'm not until there's a reason not to, right?
Yeah. So I'm excited about that as a 49er fan, as a Tevin Coleman owner in a few leagues. So you can start him. I think he's going to be putting up RB1, RB2 numbers for you.
Yeah. Just to be clear, I do expect him to do well, but 3 touchdowns, probably not a repeat of performance on that one. So temper your expectations there, but yeah, Tevin Coleman.
No, I refuse to.
Okay, three touchdowns per game. So when that doesn't happen next week, go ahead and make sure we let Justin know that's one he missed on.
Oh man, watch it happen. All right. Do you think we'll see Cam Newton after that game, though? Do you think he's going to return as their starting quarterback?
I don't know, because, yeah, the Panthers got beat bad, but they've been good otherwise.
Yeah.
They've been winning.
But you see that sometimes where when like the new quarterback coming in has a real bad week where they give up on him right away.
I think Cam should be in. I think Cam should be starting. At least until the end of the season, and then decide what you're going to do with him. Trade him at that point.
Yeah, see, I was going to say I'm still a big proponent, of trading him to just get
Denver. I'll take him. I'll take him in Denver. He'll come. He can come die in the Mile High City. All right. Is that all we got there? We're gonna move on to some these injury updates. Great. Yeah, Ben couldn't be here, guys.
Fantastic.
He's really sorry. But he did send his notes over, so we'll kind of go over what he had to say about some of these injuries. We'll give our impression of the player going forward, what to expect. So the first player on our list was Patrick Mahomes, which I think is a hot topic. Mahomes being out affects a lot of fantasy-relevant players. So basically what happened is he had the dislocated kneecap, which Ben described as the it's just, let's see what he say here. It's sliding within its socket, so it just makes all the ligaments lax. He did mention that there would be a much larger recovery time had there been any tearing in the ligaments. So the fact that he's standing up on the field and basically begging to get in there. I don't know if you were watching, Justin, but like I'm pretty sure he was dying inside, not playing that game.
I know, that's what I was telling you. I was like, man, I know he wants to go in, but the team's gonna have to do what's best for him.
Yeah. Ben said that they're likely just waiting for swelling and bruising to go down, which should be another week or so, and then they'll just throw a brace on him and he'll be good to go. You and I did mention that the dislocation in the kneecap tends to lead to more dislocations in the future, so it's something to note. But the way Ben was describing is it doesn't sound like it's a major injury that's going to hold him. Excuse me. Whoa, beer burp, everybody. My apologies. To hold him back going forward rest of the season. So, I still like Mahomes, but I still think everything you and I brought up last week regarding his schedule rest of season, this little bit of an injury scare, a bye week. I don't I mean, if I can get something for him, I'm trading him, but I'm not
Yeah.
dropping him.
Yeah, and yeah, don't drop him. That's
Yeah,
I think that's
that's
stupid.
crazy.
But yeah, I'm still all about trading him. Once he comes back, he does not have good matchups. Even like I mentioned, if he didn't play until 3 weeks from now, the matchups. But even his next 3 matchups in between then aren't that great. So he's
Yeah,
got Minnesota, Tennessee, and the Chargers. So those aren't like great matchups.
right.
So yeah, I'm gonna try and trade him. I might wait a week and trade him of him playing, just so that everyone knows he's healthy and you could get more value out of him.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. And to be completely honest with you, it's Patrick Mahomes, so I expect him to still do well
Yeah,
in that schedule. But if you're hoping for that MVP level play like of last year, 50 touchdown rate, I don't think that's going to happen during
yeah.
this stretch.
I'm trading him for another QB1 and another player. Like I would love to get a QB1 and a solid flex spot.
Right, exactly. Okay, let's move on to Patrick Mahomes' teammate here, and that's Tyreek Hill. I know he's back. He's been back for a couple weeks now. He's been doing just fine. I think he's been hurt by Patrick Mahomes missing time. But I don't know. How did you feel about how he played this week?
I mean, he looks fine. Like he doesn't seem to be like in pain, like he's playing like he is Tyreek Hill. But I just like you said, I think he's hurt by the quarterback play. Him and Patrick Mahomes are like the perfect combination, with Patrick Mahomes' arm strength and accuracy downfield, and Tyreek just so fast. So he's hurt by that.
Yeah, Ben brought up that he does look fine, but I guess it's more serious than your average football injury, because the sternoclavicular joint, which is where your collarbone meets your sternum, that there's a lot of important parts behind that, major blood vessels, airways, that sort of thing.
Your heart.
Well, that's on the other side. Well, I guess
I don't know which side's hurt.
I think he fell on his right side. Whatever. Yes, if it is on his left side. And just like with the kneecap, right? A dislocation means that you are more likely to dislocate in the future. Now, that joint in particular isn't very commonly dislocated, unlike the kneecap. So basically, if he fell wrong again, that dislocation could happen again, and there could be serious damage done. So I think the only risk really with this injury is a re-injury. I guess I'm not going to worry about it. I guess I'm not going to play in fear. Tyreek Hill's super talented. Patrick Mahomes comes back. I think it'll be back to business as usual. Kind of boom bust like always, but a lot of boom. So
you got to ride the rocket till it explodes.
Okay, that's kind of weird.
Because he's going to shoot out of there, and he's going to get you a bunch of points until it's horrible, and he's hurt, and he's not going to get you anything in again. He's worthless.
Which of the other two receivers there, Robinson or Hardman, who are you starting if you had to start one of them?
You're just going to leave Sammy Watkins completely out?
Isn't he injured?
Yeah.
That's nobody cares about.
No. So you're saying for this week then?
I would say going forward, rest of the season. Who do you like rest of the season between those two? Tyreek, obviously the number one.
I like Hardman.
I do too.
Yeah. Going into after the first, I believe it was 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
I liked Robinson more, but I think Hardman's gotten the experience he needs to play in the NFL. He looks comfortable out there, and he's a more talented wide receiver, physically gifted. So I mean, it's cool to see him play.
Yeah, I think obviously Tyreek and Mike Evans are completely different players, but I think what we could have is a similar situation as the Bucs 1, 2, 3 years from now, where Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, we could be seeing a Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman situation over there. I really think he's super talented. So I do like Mecole Hardman a lot. Next one we want to talk about was Drew Brees. When I sent this list out to Ben, we still didn't know if Drew Brees was going to be playing. He did play, and he played well. I was really happy to see that. I love Drew Brees. I just liked seeing Drew Brees do well. This guy, Ben described him as a medical marvel. His injury when he was still in San Diego, coming back from that, leading a team to a Super Bowl, this guy literally can play through anything and apparently can heal through anything. Ben said that he predicts him throwing another 20 touchdowns this season, so he's not concerned about that thumb whatsoever. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not concerned either, man. I'm starting Drew Brees if I own Drew Brees.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it'd be crazy not to. And hopefully the owner of him dropped him while he was injured and you could have grabbed him. So yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah, I honestly think that my prediction for NFC Championship game is going to be 49ers Saints, and Saints are going to win.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hey man, that's my prediction. All right, it's not your prediction.
No, it is not.
Anything else you want to talk about with Drew Brees?
No, I mean it benefits their entire offense. So not just for fantasy wise, you're going to start seeing deeper passes down the field with Drew Brees out there.
Right.
So that's going to benefit everyone.
I think this really benefits Alvin Kamara when he comes back. He has a bye week this week. So if you have Latavius Murray and you're relying on him or Alvin Kamara or Michael Thomas, make sure that you're prepared for that. But I like Alvin Kamara rest of season a lot. I think he might be a league winner. Especially, I think Latavius Murray did so well last week that they were able to play him this week as a bell cow again. Carried the load, no big deal. They went out, won the game. Drew Brees is back. They got a bye week now to get healthy again. So I like all the offensive players on this team a bunch. So,
yeah, and of course it helps. Michael Thomas helps the tight end play literally every player there. So,
yeah. Next guy we want to talk about. This is kind of a dynasty quarterback situation. That's Big Ben. I think people have kind of forgotten that Big Ben is injured. He is out for the season. He's missing the whole season. Ben says he should retire. Obviously, Ben's not his doctor. He hasn't met him or examined him personally, but he says he should retire. He's probably going to get Tommy John surgery, though they haven't confirmed that yet. He probably won't be throwing for another 6 months. At least if that Ben had him as a patient, he wouldn't allow him to throw for another 6 months. That puts him, almost at the start of training camp before he starts throwing at all. And remember, Andrew Luck went through something similar, where he wasn't throwing until the start of training camp, and then he ended up missing an entire season. So it's just something to remember. I don't know. He's made his mark on the NFL, says Ben, and Ben thinks he should move on, and I kind of agree. How do you feel about?
I completely agree. I feel like I've been saying for a couple of years that Pittsburgh needs to start thinking about his replacement. I think that you're seeing right now why they should have done that, because they're not the same team without him.
Yeah.
They don't have anyone back there that is going to lead them to postseason. So it's disappointing, especially for fantasy, because Juju is being crushed by this.
I actually, with Juju, rest of season, I'm not a huge fan of Juju. I think he's startable, but I think we're kind of beyond the point where you have to stop worrying about the value of the draft, right?
Oh yeah. You got to worry about their current value.
Right, but I think he's still startable. He's still going to score a touchdown now and then. He'll probably have another 100-yard game here or there, but he's not going to be the guy you drafted him to be. But I do like going out and getting him for cheap in dynasty leagues. I think if they know, especially if Big Ben retires, right? If he's gone, they know he's gone. They go out and they build a team,
Yeah, I
new
think they got
back.
to. I
Yeah.
think so. I think even if he doesn't retire, they got to go get a quarterback. Like,
Yeah.
so and start worrying because I mean, even if he comes back, they know his clock is ticking. He doesn't have that much left in the tank.
Yeah. The Steelers need to work on good clock management.
They do.
Yeah.
We could probably help them with that.
Yeah. So anyways, I would
I
say
know a guy.
if you can go out and get Juju cheap right now in a dynasty league, yeah, go ahead. Maybe throw out like a draft pick or something like that to get Juju. I think anybody you're getting in like the third round of a redraft league, or not a redraft, a rookie draft, is probably worth what Juju will give you. Next guy I want to talk about was Will Disley, tight end extraordinaire. No, I don't know. I don't know if I'd go that far, but he was finally emerging, right, as a fantasy relevant tight end, which we need more of in this league. And he had the devastating injury a few weeks ago, where it's putting him out the rest of the season with a torn Achilles. Ben mentioned the fact that it's the opposite leg of the torn patella from last year, and he described each one as potential career enders in their own right. So now he's had both. When I hear that, I'm bummed out for him, but I don't expect a whole lot for the rest of his career, right? To come back from two possible career-ending injuries would just be, that's a high stack.
Yeah, that's not a risk that you want to be taking with the player. So
yeah, where the injury happened in the season, I mean, he could be at risk of missing some training camp next year. He's got a long way to go. I feel bad for him, man. I liked Will Disley.
Yeah. It's sad to see. I had him as my tight end in this season, so I obviously liked him, but and then he got hurt. So it's sad to see that with players. No one ever wishes injuries on players, so or I guess you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Unless who was it? The Jets coach?
Rex Ryan?
No. There was a player that was accusing a coach of putting out hits on players.
Oh, well, didn't Sean Payton do that with the Saints a few years ago?
Like yeah, he did.
10 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. Will Disley is still the number 9 tight end, and he hasn't played in 2 weeks or something like that. So it's a very volatile position. It's a frustrating position, and I just don't want to see any of those guys get hurt because it makes the pool of tight ends to pull from so small. So small. It's
pretty vast though. You got tons of tight ends out there that'll get you 2 to 3 points a week.
Yeah, and I got one of those this week, per your recommendation, Gerald Everett. Thanks for nothing, Justin.
Well, can't win them all.
Well, I won. I did win.
Oh, so you're welcome.
No, it wasn't because of him. I could have not started a tight end and I still would have won. Okay, that's how much he gave me. Next guy Ben sent me some notes on was Lamar Miller, who's been out all season. I think people have kind of forgotten that Lamar Miller exists. And Ben's advice is you should probably too. He says don't hold on to him. Don't hold on to him in Dynasty going into next season.
That's funny because this week I dropped him from my Dynasty IR slot.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Lamar Miller has dealt with injuries, a fair amount of injuries throughout his career. Nothing quite this serious, I don't believe.
Yeah, it's just been constant for him.
And I feel like Lamar Miller's always been good enough, right? I feel like that's how his fantasy performance has always gone. And coming off this ACL repair, I feel like you're probably going to get even less. So, yeah, I would drop Lamar Miller. I mean, maybe shop him around for a few weeks here in Dynasty, see if anybody wants to throw you a draft pick or something for him. But, yeah, I'm not interested in Lamar Miller going forward rest of his career. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm eating these words next year. You got anything to add about Mr. Miller?
I pulled up his injuries. He missed 2 games in 2016, the last 2 games of the season. The next year. He missed 3 games. He's just like you said, just been constantly missing a game here, a game there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bummer for Lamar Miller. But, the Houston Texans, I think they found something in Carlos Hyde. I think they could ride him into next year. He'd do just fine. They maybe draft a rookie running back this year and just start building for the future. And you should too. Last guy here I want to talk about, it's not necessarily the player, but more the injury, but that was Leighton Vander Esch. What is he? Is he a linebacker, right, for the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the injury that he has is a stinger. And I think we hear this all the time. Oh, he's got a stinger. And everybody's like, oh, that's not good. Well, what's a stinger? Right. So essentially,
funny side note is they're a gummy candy that they give us in Afghanistan that has caffeine.
Called a stinger?
Yeah, that's the name on them. It says Stinger, has a little bee on it.
Oh, okay. Not at all like the injury.
Oh, that's not what he got?
No. It's a stinger is when the peripheral nerve is compressed between 2 vertebrae. So, your spine gets compressed when you hit somebody with your head. And that nerve can be damaged or bruised or inflamed afterwards. He says nerves are extremely unpredictable. So it's really hard to have a timetable on a return or what the symptoms may be. It could be numbness in extremities. It could be all kinds of different things, right? He could have temperature, feeling the right temperature in extremity. So when a player gets something like that, it's pretty serious, right? So if you ever hear something like that, it could be a while, and it's really hard to predict. So, you might hear oh, he has a stinger, he'll be out 3 weeks. That's not for sure. Don't bank on that. Sounds painful.
It's so crazy. I remember playing little league football as a kid. Kids would get you'd get there were kids who got stingers and they're like, oh, it's just a stinger, he's good.
Right. Well, I think those days are over, right? She used to be the same way with concussions.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a concussion, let him sit out 2 plays.
Yeah, I've heard some crazy stories of kids in high school. He's oh, I remember taking a huge hit on the opening kickoff, and then the next thing I remember was waking up the next morning. And he's apparently I played the whole game though. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Alvin Kamara was another guy that I asked him about, but he said he didn't really have a whole lot of info on Alvin Kamara. I think the fact that there's not a lot of info means that he's probably doing okay. Had some soreness. They don't want to mess with it, especially when they're doing fine with Latavius Murray. So, yeah, I'm like I said before, I'm excited about Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I'm excited to have him come back, and it sucks for Latavius Murray because you're going to see his workload go back to where it was.
That's okay with me. I own them both.
Yeah, and I think that's a good one because I don't think you have to worry about it being a split backfield. You don't have to worry about when Kamara comes back. Are they gonna give him the full workload back, or are they gonna split it between the 2 of them? No, it's gonna be his job.
Yeah, absolutely. Alvin Kamara might be. I mean, he's extremely talented. He's hyper talented. So I think they're just saving him for the playoffs. They want to go win a Super Bowl, and they need him to do so.
Yeah, just make sure he's healthy and he's ready to go. That's what I was a little surprised that Breeze came back this week for that same reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did mention that right when he got hurt, maybe this game would be the one he'd come back because it's an easy game, right? The Cardinals aren't all that good. Maybe they wanted to get him back in, ease him in, and then give him a week.
I just feel like that's also a good reason to sit him.
Exactly. There's 2 sides to that coin, and they're both valid. Both correct. Yeah, they're both valid. So, it worked though.
Yeah,
it worked.
It's not crazy if it works.
Sometimes it's crazy, even if it works. Like this podcast.
Nice.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's all we had for you guys regarding injuries. Did you have anything else you want to talk about, Justin?
I was just going to mention in our next show, we're going to be having the Rum Boys podcast coming on and being guests on our show. And we'll be doing a little guest spot on their show in next coming weeks. Not sure the exact date on that one yet, but we'll make sure we keep you guys updated on that. And it'll be exciting to get some more guests on here, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you guys tune into that one. I'm hoping I can make it. I'm going to be going to a gaming convention. I'm a nerd. I play video games a lot, right? I'm going to BlizzCon in Anaheim, California. I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping that I can record from there, but we'll see. But the show will happen either way. Don't you fret.
Yeah, I have if you're not able to make it, I have idea. I got a pretty good idea how I'm going to replace you for that episode.
I hope only for that episode.
Yeah. I think you'll approve.
Okay, good.
All right. So we'll see you guys Friday.
Stay frosty.